May 8, 1945. Victory in Europe Day, better known as VE Day. It was a day that the world had waited for 5.5 long and bloody years. Finally, the nations of Europe were at peace and free from a dictatorial government bent on world domination and genocide. The war in Europe claimed more human lives than any war before or since. Europe's great nations suffered as never before, with some countries, such as Poland, losing an estimated 17% of their population. Altogether, an estimated 40 million human beings lost their lives. Initially, the European war was decisively going in Nazi Germany's favor. Country after country fell to the seemingly unstoppable advance of the military forces of National Socialism. With no European countries to conquer on the mainland, the German war machine focused on Great Britain. The Germans bore down on the British Isles in 1940 with an aerial assault the likes of which the world had never seen. Young British pilots in the RAF took to the air in their Spitfires and Hurricanes to defend their homeland from the aerial onslaught. And through it all, the perseverance of the British people kept them upright and proved them unbreakable. Aside from the obvious territorial expansion of its borders, at the dark heart of the Nazi war plan was a plan to cleanse all of Europe of a single race of people. The genocide against the Jews of Europe was an unprecedented, pre-planned operation to erase an entire people from existence. The Nazi plan spared no one, from the elderly to the infants in their mothers' arms. All were viciously murdered in the greatest crime in human history. Yet through this Holocaust, never before seen or suffered, the Jewish people, like the Allies fighting to free Europe, persevered and prevailed through the terror. At the center of the European war was the land campaign. Territory conquered by Nazi Germany ultimately had to be liberated by foot soldiers from nearly all of the Allied nations in a grueling, bloody campaign. Starting in 1943, the peoples of Europe began to realize the freedom that had been stolen from them during the Nazi advances. American, British, and the soldiers of Allied nations across the globe shed blood from the sands of North Africa to the beaches of Normandy and beyond, all in a quest not to conquer, but to liberate. Finally, after 5.5 horrific years, the perseverance of the Allies paid off in Reims, France, when the government of Nazi Germany, having been thoroughly defeated in every way possible by the free peoples of the world, surrendered unconditionally to the Allied forces. VE Day meant an end to the war that had cost the lives of millions, had destroyed homes, families, and cities, and had brought huge suffering and deprivations to the populations of entire countries. Millions of people rejoiced in the news that Germany had surrendered, relieved that the intense strain of total war was finally over. In towns and cities across the world, people marked the victory with street parties, dancing, and singing. British Prime Minister Winston Churchill appeared on the balcony of the Ministry of Health building in central London and gave an impromptu speech. Huge cheering crowds gathered below, and he declared, "This is your victory." For the first time since 1939, the lights went on again all over Europe.